Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom coming to you from Shanghai, back for another Eurovision reaction video. Tonight I'm going to be discussing the results of Semi Final number 1, which was last night for you, this morning for me. I'm also going to want to get your feedback about the live streams that are coming up on Thursday and Saturday, and then I'm going to discuss the 10 countries that qualify for the final and what this means for Eurovision 2021. So let's kiki. I'll use the progress bar to break up the video into sections if you want to jump to a particular part. First of all, I gotta say thank you to everybody who came and watched the show with me this morning at 3 a.m. I'm sorry if I looked cranky or a little bit shodden. I think I still look a little bit rough now. I need to catch up on my sleep. It was really nice to me. I was kind of dreading this to a certain extent because this is my first Eurovision where I haven't either been there or been with friends. So it was my first one on my own. And I was kind of like thinking that it could possibly turn into quite a horrible event. And it was so nice just to have like a really nice group of people, community, just kind of watching it together. It was just really lovely, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you to everybody who watched it with me. In terms of the live stream, I just wanted to get a little bit of feedback about what to do. One of the biggest issues is that we were all kind of out of sync. I was watching on the YouTube channel. I originally was watching on BBC, but they were 45 seconds behind, so I went to YouTube instead. It did feel like a lot of us were out of sync. Based on that, I was trying not to talk too much because I didn't want to be talking while someone was watching a performance. In hindsight, I think it might be better if I just go ahead and talk, and if I'm out of sync, you could just mute me. But please let me know what you think would be best. I obviously don't want to sit there like completely wooden for the whole thing. I was mostly talking during the postcards, but when I was watching a lot of the performances, I was like dying to say stuff, but I didn't want to interrupt someone else who was maybe at a different part or just didn't want to hear someone talking over the performance. So let me know what you think would be the best thing to do. By the time we get to the results, I worked out how to have the show and see the comments at the same time so that I was able to type, because for the actual performances I had to switch away from the comments in order to watch it. So now I've got both of them, I'll be able to be much more involved in the chat. But yeah, let me know if you have any ideas for the live stream on Thursday, Friday morning, and then also the grand final as well, which obviously I'll be live streaming both of those as well. So about the show, I thought it was brilliant. First of all, it was just great to even just have it. After over 730 days to actually just be able to see the show was really surreal and very joyous. I was very just happy that it was happening at all. But on top of that, to have like such a spectacular shot, I really do think this is one of the strongest semi-finals we've ever had. The standard was just absolutely and utterly spectacular. I think all 16 entries were great, and you know, I've been vocal about the fact I don't like Slovenia. I'm not really mad on North Macedonia either. I still watched the performance the whole way through. I didn't feel like anything was a toilet break. I thought each performance was just so vibrant because of the setup and the production, all the visuals, and the way the stage has been done. I just think is really fantastic this year. I just thought the whole show was so entertaining. It was really such a pleasure to be back in watching a show again. Yeah, gosh, like everyone just really brought it. I thought it was just like an onslaught of awesomeness. I would finish watching an epic performance and then there was another epic performance, like I was getting punched by the epic performance boxer. Obviously I had a couple of sad moments where I was wishing that I was there, but you know, next year, wherever we end up going, I'm very much looking forward to being back in the audience, hopefully. I thought all the hosts were great. I thought Nikki Niaga and Nikki Tutorials was really fantastic. She's quite young. I think she's early 20s, 21 or so. Oh, she's 27. Okay. Oh, she's not as young as I thought. She's 27. I still thought she was excellent. I think she's got to be one of the youngest hosts that we've ever had in Eurovision for quite a while. But I thought she was absolutely fantastic. A lot of people didn't realize how tall she is. I actually watch your channel every once in a while, so I knew how tall she is already. I was very happy that Lithuania went through. They were in the first place. Some people were a little bit worried. I thought it was a perfect opener to the show, not just because of the theme of the song, but also their performance was just so energetic. Quite classy. I think it's actually quite classy for an upbeat, boppy song. I liked all the graphics. There was so much furore about the scoreboard. In the end, I thought the scoreboard looked absolutely fine. In terms of the results, let's go through the 10 qualifiers. So they were Lithuania, Russia, Sweden, Cyprus, Norway, Belgium, Israel, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, and Malta. First thing we got to point out, there's some interesting factoids from these 10 qualifiers. Cyprus continued to have one of the strongest qualification records. They've gone to 6 in a row now. Sweden are up to 8 in a row, and Ukraine still have their 100% qualification record. Norway's record now goes to 8 of 9, with only Agneta in 2016 missing out. So some really strong qualification records. In terms of the results, I'm kind of kicking myself because if I had trusted my gut and kept Israel in and not swapped for Croatia, I actually would have got my first ever 10 out of 10 in predictions, which I've never had, which is something I'm dreaming of, getting the golden 10. I've never done that before. But yeah, nine of them were, I think a lot of people guessed somewhere around 9 because really the ones that were high up in the bookies went through. Do you feel like Croatia and Israel, it was going to be one or the other? They were just so similar in terms of where they were in the running order and the colour scheme, and also just the fact they're young girls singing upbeat bops. I was kind of kicking myself that I put Israel out of my predictions because one of the reasons I put them in initially was because of their Euro jury. They came 5th. They really killed it with the Euro jury, and I think this is largely going to be the same. I think the jury will have given them a very high score, and maybe the televote will have suffered a little bit more. We obviously won't know now until we get all the results out. Big losses. Slovenia, I think, was pretty expected. Australia, again, I feel they knew that was coming, and that's why SBS weren't willing to send her. I think they used the COVID as an excuse, but I think the real reason is that they just didn't want to have all the kerfuffle and spend all the money when they knew it was unlikely to go through. North Macedonia, I think he did great on the night. He's very much a live singer. Yeah, the song just wasn't strong enough. He did the best he could. Ireland, I think that she did fine with her performance. I think I quite like her vocal style, but I know some people thought her vocals were a little bit off. She's not the strongest singer. I hope that the take-home message for the Irish delegation is that they put a huge effort in, and unfortunately they were in a tough semi, but also that unfortunately the total package just wasn't enough. I hope they don't go down this route, which the UK and Ireland do have a tendency to go down, of saying, oh, it was all just geopolitical stuff. I've already seen some comments on Twitter about it, which I just couldn't resist pointing out how ridiculous it is, based on the fact that Cyprus and Malta have absolutely no geopolitical help whatsoever. Cyprus gets it from Greece, but Greece on here, so you can't really use the geopolitical argument, because what geopolitical help are Israel, Cyprus, Malta, Lithuania? They aren't getting any help. They got through. They just have better songs than we did, and it was a better package. So look, I love the effort here, and I hope the message is this was a kind of a bit of an improvement based off of 22, but it needs to just keep building on that. Croatia, you know, the song never massively resonated with me. I've already spoken about this. I just think it was Israel kind of cancelled it out, and then Romania rocks. And look, I'm obviously devastated. This was my number 2, but she just so many they just fucked up. There's no other way to say it. Her team or whoever decided the staging totally fucked up. She wasn't able to do the breathing for it. They either should have changed the staging, or they should have just gotten her with a personal trainer and just gotten her cardio absolutely sensational, and then got her with a singing coach to teach her about her breathing. But they should have done something. I don't know how they've had so much time. They've had like an entire year to sort this out. To make such a basic error for me is really bizarre. I feel really sad for her. She's a young girl. I think she's going to be pretty devastated about this. This is 3 non-qualifications in a row for Romania, and with good songs as well. I really loved Esther Pini's song in 2019. I think that came 13th. That wasn't really even close. I'm pretty sure it came 13th. Yeah, it did come 13th. So yeah, Romania really need to I think they need a little bit of a jig up on how they're approaching this strategically. I don't think their strategy has been particularly strong in the last 2 years. The Humans, I think they did the best they could with a very weak song. But yeah, I think Romania's back to drawing about 3 non-qualifications in a row. That puts them on a par with Latvia and Georgia for having the worst streaks in the competition, apart from Montenegro, who aren't technically in it right now. But those 3 countries at this point in time have 3 non-qualification streaks. Now, if Latvia and Georgia don't qualify on Thursday, that means they'll become 4-4, or even if one of them does, they'll take that worst spot on their own. But Romania, definitely, that's a big change in fortunes from going from always qualifying to having to hope that Latvia and Georgia don't qualify so that you don't have the worst record. Some couple interesting stats I'm going to put up here. This is the views on the official YouTube channel. I did the stats after 12 hours. I posted this on my Twitter. My takeaways from this is I do believe that Norway and Sweden were likely pushed through based from the jury. I'm just guessing that based on the amount of views that their songs have had. And I'm guessing that with the amount of views that they had, Cyprus and Malta would have had a larger televote than jury, and that would have pushed them through. In terms of draws for the final, Belgium, Cyprus, Israel, Malta, Russia, those 5 have been drawn for the first half. The second half, Azerbaijan, Lithuania, Norway, Sweden, and Ukraine. So that's big for Ukraine, and I think that's one of the reasons why they jumped up in the odds up into 4th place. I think it feels a little bit more like the second half is more stacked because of the automatic qualifiers. they got France, Germany and Italy, so they got two of the big favourites, whereas the first half got Spain and UK, which is arguably the two weakest of the 6 automatics. So I think that's why the second half feels a little bit heavier, but you know, you can win from the first half. Sweden did, Monzemilov did, Conchita did, Duncan Lawrence did. So it being in the first half, if you do well in your semi, they put you between 10 and 13. It'll be interesting to see who gets put in those 10 to 3 slots. They usually put one of the heavy favourites in, and they put in a dud as well, to kind of like trick you. So it'll be interesting to see who gets those spots. Now talk is going to who is going to open the show. I don't think it's going to be Malta because they opened it in 2019. UK is a possibility. I'm not sure if they're trying to encourage the UK to try a little bit harder and do better. I think putting them first will be a little bit of a like FU. On top of that, they opened in 2012-ish or whatever year whatever your Humperdinck was in. So I don't think they're due to have another opening. For me, the most obvious one is Israel or Cyprus, or one of the semi-2 songs that qualifies, which could be San Marino, Serbia, or Moldova. If Moldova go through, San Marino, I don't think that they will get first because they're first in their semi-final. Getting a double first is extremely unfair. Serbia could be a possibility. I think the end result, will it be Israel? I don't know. Politically, I don't know if that's the best idea right now. I think unless Cyprus gets a very, very strong result in their semi, I think they might be the ones who are picked to open. Just a little bit about the qualifiers. So yeah, I spoke about Lithuania already. Russia, I thought this is really special. I had a couple of tingles when they sing to the wall. That is just absolutely gorgeous moment. I thought Tusa was very solid. The rehearsal I saw was a bit meh, but his final performance, it did look more copy and paste from the national final. I thought the national performance was very strong. I think people love ragging on Sweden. When there's an opportunity to rag on them, people jump at it. I'm very happy he went through. I think he's an awesome representation of. We've got quite a few representatives of the black community in the final, which I really like. We've already got Israel, Netherlands, and Sweden. There's also the possibility of Benny from Czech Republic. I don't actually think that he's going to go through now. So that's really, I love that representation. He's also representing immigrant community as well because he immigrated from the Congo, I think, when he was quite young. I thought Cyprus was absolutely incredibly slick, very, very deserved qualification. I really like Norway. I don't really like all this kind of hate that's going around for Norway right now. I feel like he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. You know, when he wears the sunglasses, people are like, oh, he looks like such a dick, he's wearing sunglasses. When he takes the sunglasses off and he's got ticks around his eyes, people are like, oh, he's playing up for sympathy. It's like, well, what the hell is he meant to do then? Is he just meant to gouge his eyes out? Like, for example, if Slovenia went through, I wouldn't hate on her. I'd be like, look, she made it. She made it through a very tough semi-final. Fair play to her. I think people should just kind of do that when someone gets through. If Norway got through, they did what needed to be done to go through. Yeah, I just think they've got the finger on the pulse. Norway, 8 qualifications of the last 9. This isn't a fluke. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. Okay, Belgium going through. This is probably one of the most happy moments for me the whole night. I just think the song is so classy. This is definitely a contender to make it into my top 10. I just think this is such a breath of classy, fresh, smooth, silky air. I love it. In Lean, I was a little bit surprised, but very happy for her. I thought the performance was really, I thought it looked great. I love all the kind of cartoon visuals that she had on the longer screen. Azerbaijan, again, love this. I think it's so different. I thought she was really, really great in the night. And that last, like, dun 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 bit at the end makes so much sense when you see it in the show and with the pyro. It totally makes sense. It's so climactic. I think she's really, really passionate, and I love her performance style. She's not a great dancer, but I just love the way that she serves face and everything's amazing. Ukraine, Goe were absolutely amazing. Definitely contenders to have won. Will be really interesting to see where they get put. If they get put maybe 22 or something before Jangru, that could be an indicator that they are in this with a possibility. Apparently the reaction within the arena was gigantic for them. They had such huge reaction. And final, Malta Destiny. She seemed very nervous in the performance. She was kind of shuffling over a couple of her words, but she was much about towards the end. I love that bit, that bridge that they actually added into the song. I don't think it was in the demo. They put it in for her. That is definitely the standout moment when there's kind of these star explosions and she's saying ladies. That's when she really, really shined, when she kind of let her hair down. I hope that she can take some confidence on that performance and be a little bit more solid in the final. She's got a really, really, really good shot to do it. Even she's got a shot to win, but even not winning, even just coming top 5 for Malta would be really amazing. That would be their best result since, God, when was Gianluca Tamara? He was 9th, I think, and that was a long time ago. That was 2013 or 14. It's not just about winning. Getting top 5 nowadays is such a gigantic achievement. So I just love her to get in there, and I just hope that she has a really confident performance in the final. Okay, that's everything that I think about semi-final number 1 in Eurovision. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please let me know if you've got any ideas for the live stream, which I can implement for Thursday and for Saturday. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another Eurovision reaction video very soon. Goodbye. Hey Eurovision fans, it's time. Ooh, what's that? What the hell is that? Weird.